Hello, everybody. Miss Debbie here. It's nice to see you on these beautiful blue skies days of March. March is such an odd month. It comes in like a lion, roar, windy and cold and kind of still snowy and crunchy on your feet with the snow still hanging around. And then in a couple of weeks, it'll go out like a lamb, hopefully. With nice weather and everything. So here's a song just for fun. It's called When March Breezes Blow. When March breezes blow and there's no more snow, who is first to grow? Pussy Willow. And Pussy Willow is um, little sticks, and the first thing to grow on a pussy willow, even before the leaves, are little tiny buds, and they look like little gray little tiny bunny tails, and they're soft too. You can find them in the store. Some people plant them in their garden, in their yard, and that's a fun thing too. I keep forgetting to buy a bunch to show you, but I'm sure um, maybe next time I'll remember. So another thing about spring and March is I saw my first robin today. So you're always on the lookout for uh, uh, the first robin because when the robins return from their southern home, Florida probably, it means spring is really coming. So I brought um, I brought this book just so you could see what the robin looks like. So you're going to look for a bird with a red breast. Robin redbreast is the name. And here they are. Look at so in this picture, the tree is still bare. There's little patches of snow on the ground, just like we have. The grass is not green; it's brown, and yet you can you can spy a robin or a couple of them hopping around, and they seem to hop. They go hop, 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 and there's more robins. And my neighbor has crocuses coming up in his yard. I think it's so great. I saw snowdrops the other day. Little too early for the daffodils. You'll also hear a robin's song. Here's the robins building a nest. But it's so exciting to see the first robins of spring. When they do lay their eggs are this color blue. Guess what? It's called robin's egg blue. Um, and after the little birds hatch, you could be walking around and you might see a piece of a shell on the ground. So that happens later in the spring, and it's very exciting too to see that beautiful, beautiful blue egg. So, and robins they eat worms and insects. You won't find them around your bird feeder eating seeds. That they go after the bugs, and that's why they're not around in the winter because bugs are not around in the winter. It's too cold for them. So the robins they fly south so where the weather is warm. So I was so excited. I saw my first robin, and maybe you'll go out tomorrow and look for your robin. So um, robin, the word or the name robin actually means of bright and shining fame. So if your name is Robert or Robin or another derivative of that, that's what your name means, of bright and shining fame. So, my little trivia for this evening. It's going to stay lighter later because we have daylight savings time. So, you're not going to feel like going to bed because it's going to be very light out. So, but you still might be tired. So I'm so glad you came to story time tonight. So, hello, everybody. How are you? How are you? How are you? Hello, everybody. How are you? How are you today? And I'm fine. Thank you. I'm in the library. Guess what? Um, we are open. You can come in for limited browsing, and I hope you do. We have some new items, not just new books, but we have these new backpacks called Little Sprouts. And they're like discovery packs, and they're filled with books and other treasures that you could check out and bring home. So it's so exciting. You could look for it online, and you can still place holds and pick them up in the lobby, but you can actually walk in the library. And I hope you do, because everyone's been closed in all winter and we haven't seen too many people and we're tired and cranky about it. So let's do our favorite Where is Thumpkin song, because that's just too fun. And you could do that while you're tucked up in bed. Where is Thumpkin? Where is Thumpkin? Here I am, here I am. How are you today, sir? Very well, I thank you. Run away, run away. So this is a little song about manners. When someone asks, how are you? You say, I'm fine, thank you. And how are you? You shouldn't have to run away after you've introduced yourself, but it's just a song. Maybe you're shy. What's our next finger? That's right, it's pointer. Where is Pointer? Where is Pointer? Here I am, here I am. How are you today, sir? Very well, I thank you. Run away, run away. Our next finger is the tallest finger of the lot, and I like to imagine her as a tall African princess. Tall, 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 so regal looking. Maybe she's a queen. And she wears a tall headdress that makes her seem even taller, and she carries herself in a very stately manner. Where is tall woman? Where is tall woman? Here I am, here I am. How are you today, ma'am? Very well, I thank you. Run away, run away. So in the old days, women didn't bow, but they curtsied because they wore skirts. So if you're a girl and you have a skirt on, you could do a curtsy. Or a lot of girls wear slacks, and if you wear slacks, you can bow just like a gentleman, and it's totally proper. Where is Ring Man? Where is Ring Man? Here I am, here I am. How are you today, sir? Very well, I thank you. Run away, run away. And what's our last finger called? Pinky. Where is Pinky? Where is Pinky? Here I am. Here I am. How are you today, dude? Very well, I thank you. Run away. Run away. I just love that song. I used to sing that when I was a kid, and I got a big thrill out of it. So, all right, settle in. And our first book is by Dr. Seuss. McElligot's Pool, one of my favorite books, because it's the story of a little boy who was fishing in a little pond on McElligot's farm, and somebody came up and told him, you'll never catch anything in there. They throw all sorts of garbage in there, like tires and tin cans. And the little boy, he begs to differ because he's got an imagination, thinking, what might he fish for? So, McElligot's Pool. I just love this. It's been one of my favorite stories forever and ever. And here are the signs pointing to McElligot's Pool. By the way, Dr. Seuss, he not only wrote these books, but he has illustrated them. He has made the drawings as well. And his drawings are just, no one's ever drawn, ever, ever, ever like Dr. Seuss draws. But maybe you'll grow up to write stories and draw too. And I hope you do. We need more fun things to read. So here's our story. Young man, laughed the farmer, you're sort of a fool. You'll never catch fish in McElligot's Pool. The pool is too small, and you might as well know it. When people have junk, here's the place that they throw it. You might catch a boot, or you might catch a can, you might catch a bottle. But listen, young man, if you sat 50 years with your worms and your wishes, you'd grow a long beard long before you'd catch fishes. So there's the bottom of McElligot's pool with all kinds of stuff people threw out into it. Answered Marco. Maybe you're right. I've been here 3 hours without one single bite. There might be no fish, but again, well, there might. 'Cause you never can tell what goes on down below. This pool might be bigger than you or I know. How's that for good thinking? This might be a pool like I've read of in books, connected to one of those underground brooks. An underground river that starts here and flows right under the pasture, and then, well, who knows? So he's imagining it's connected to that river underground. It might go along down where no one can see, right under State Highway 203, right under the wagons, right under the toes of Mrs. Umbroso, who's hanging out clothes. Let's see, where is she? Oh, there she is in the back. It might keep on flowing, perhaps, who can tell, right under the people in Sneeden's hotel, right under the grass where they're playing croquet, then under the mountains and far, far away. This might be a river, now mightn't it be? Connecting McElligot's pool with the sea. Then maybe some fish might be swimming toward me. If such a thing could be, they certainly would be. So here you see the river connects to the sea. Maybe the fish will be swimming up to him. Some very smart fellow might point out the way to the place where I'm fishing, and that's why I say, if I wait long enough, if I'm patient and cool, who knows what I'll find in McElligot's pool. I might catch a thin fish. I might catch a stout fish. I might catch a short or a long, long drawn out fish. Any kind, any shape, any color or size. I might catch some fish that would open your eyes. Pardon me, and there's no water in this library, and I didn't bring a bottle, so I'm at a loss. I won't be surprised if a dogfish appears, complete with a collar and long floppy ears, woofing along, and perhaps he might chase a whole lot of catfish right straight to this place. I might catch a fish with a pinwheel-like tail. I might catch a fish who has fins like a sail. I might catch some young fish, some high-jumping friskers. I might catch an old one with long flowing whiskers. I might catch a fish with a long curly nose. I might catch a fish like a rooster that crows. I might catch a fish with a checkerboard belly, or even a fish made of strawberry jelly. Doesn't this make you want to draw a funny looking fish? I might catch a seahorse. Now, mightn't I now? I might catch a fish that is partly a cow. Some fish from the tropics, all sunburned and hot, might decide to swim up. Well, they might they not? Racing up north for a chance to get cool, full steam ahead for McElligot's pool. Some Eskimo fish from beyond Hudson Bay might decide to swim down, might be headed this way. It's a pretty long trip, and they might and they may. I might catch an eel. Well, I might, it depends. A long twisting eel with a lot of strange bends, and oddly enough, with a head at both ends. One doesn't catch this kind of fish as a rule, but the chances are fine in McElligot's pool. I might catch a fish with a terrible grouch, or an Australian fish with a kangaroo's pouch. Who wants to catch small ones like mackerel or trout? Say, I'll catch a sawfish with such a long snout that he needs an assistant to help him about. If I wait long enough, if I'm patient and cool, who knows what I'll catch in McElligot's pool? Some roughneck old lobster, all grizzle and muscle, might grab at my bait, then would I have a tussle. To land one so tough might take 2 or 3 hours, but the next might be easy, the kind that likes flowers. Oh, isn't she pretty? I might catch some sort of a fast-moving bloke who zips through the waves with an overarm stroke. I might and I may, and that's really no joke. A fish even faster, a fish, if you please, who slides down the sides of strange islands on skis. He might ski on over and pay me a visit. That's not impossible. Really, now is it? Never say never. Some circus fish, fish from an acrobat school, might stage a big show in McElligot's pool. Or I might catch a fish from a stranger place yet, from the world's highest river in far-off Tibet, where the falls are so steep that it's dangerous to ride 'em, so the fish put up chutes and they float down beside them. From the world's deepest ocean, from way down below, from down in the mud where the deep divers go, from down in the mire and the muck and the murk, I might catch some fish who are all going glurk, glurk, glurk. Whales! I'll catch whales. Yes, a whole herd of whales, all spouting their spouts and all thrashing their tails. I'll catch 50 whales, then I'll stop for the day, 'cause there's nothing that's bigger than whales, so they say. Still, of course, it might be that there is something bigger, some sort of a kind of a thingamajigger. Isn't that a great word, thingamajigger? Hey, what's that you've got? Oh, this thingamajig. A fish that's so big, if you know what I mean, that he makes a whale look like a tiny sardine. Oh, the sea is so full of a number of fish. If a fellow is patient, he might get his wish. And that's why I think that I'm not such a fool when I sit here and fish in McElligot's pool. I think this story is such a tribute to the imagination of children. Never stop believing in what could be. The end. Take care of this book. It's going out of print. Okay. That felt so good to read that. That's what books do for us. They make us feel good. So, you know what? Let's do our ABCs before we get on to some St. Patrick's Day books. So we're going to start with our ABC song, and then we're going to break out into our vowels and do our funny little sounding song with our vowels. Okay. So take a deep breath. Ready? Show off your ABCs. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Be a gorilla. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? Be a proud gorilla. Beat your chest. You should be proud if you know your ABCs. So now we're going to sing I like to eat apples and bananas, and we're going to put in those very special letters that are called vowels. And there's only 5 of them that do the work for the whole alphabet. So there's 26 letters in the alphabet, and only 5 are vowels, and they carry the burden of making up our words. So we're gonna practice a fun way to learn those vowel sounds, and that's what they teach you in school. It's called vowel sounds. So the original verse goes, I like to eat, eat apples and bananas. I like to eat, eat apples and bananas. We are putting in the letter A. A sounds like it looks A. I like to eat apples and bananas. I like to eat apples and bananas. Our next letter is E. E. E is a very important letter. Um, if you can say E, it means your throat is working very well. Let's plug that into our song. I like to eat apples and bananas. I like to eat apples and bananas. Now, you may be familiar with this letter. It's I, right? I. It's a noun and a letter. I. So let's plug it in. I like to eat apples and bananas. I like to eat apples and bananas. There's 2 letters left, and this one is O. O is always a lot of fun. So you know what? There's a letter O, and there's a number called 0. Isn't that fun? 0 and the letter O. I think we should write a song about 0 and O. I like to oat opals and bananas. I like to oat opals and bananas. And our last letter is U, and it sounds like ooh. So this is the funniest letter in this song, and it goes like this. I like to oot ooples and bananas. I like to oot ooples and bananas. I like to eat apples and bananas. I like to eat apples and bananas. I like practicing the ABCs with you. Um, it's a song that you'll use your whole life, I think. And the letters of the alphabet are the building blocks of our words. Words are the building blocks of our sentences, which are the building blocks of our thoughts and very important thinking. So, okay, so let's learn about St. Patrick's Day. This is one of my favorite books, and it's an old book, but it explains things very well. So settle back and listen to this story. When John got to school on March 17th, he saw something strange. There were green footprints in the hall. John followed them, and they led him right to his first grade classroom. Mrs. Ryan, John's teacher, was there. Most of you know that today is St. Patrick's Day, she said. I can tell because you're wearing green. And guess what? We have a special visitor today. See if you can find him. All the boys and girls looked Dawn looked under the desk. Brandon looked in the wastebasket. John opened the closet. There was a little man dressed in green sitting next to a golden pot. "This is Lenny the leprechaun," said Mrs. Ryan. "He has come to help us celebrate St. Patrick's Day." She opened the lid of Lenny's golden pot. Inside were pieces of paper. Each piece of paper had a number on it. "Each piece of paper tells us something we can do to celebrate St. Patrick's Day," Mrs. Ryan explained. "John, why don't you draw the first one?" John reached in the pot and pulled the top piece of paper. It said, "Make a shamrock to wear." "What's a shamrock?" he asked. "A shamrock is a three-leaf clover," said Mrs. Ryan. "It grows in Ireland and is considered good luck. Many people wear shamrocks on St. Patrick's Day." She showed them a picture, and then she gave everyone a piece of green construction paper and a pattern to trace. The children traced their shamrocks and cut them out. Then Mrs. Ryan fastened each one on with a safety pin. Some children also made shamrocks that they hung on the walls. It's fun to decorate for St. Patrick's Day. And it's also, since it's the beginning of spring, it's the perfect holiday to just celebrate spring and green and winter's over. "Vince," said Mrs. Ryan, "see what else Lenny wants us to do." Vince reached in the pot and pulled out the second piece of paper. It said, "Song and Dance Time." All the children gathered in a circle. Mrs. Ryan taught them to sing "When Irish Eyes Are Smiling," and then she showed them an Irish dance. Everyone wanted to try it. Dancing is fun. Then Mrs. Ryan said, "Maria, you choose the next thing to do." Maria pulled the third piece of paper out of the golden pot. It said, "Find my gold." Legend in Ireland says that if you catch a leprechaun and hold on to him, he has to show you where he hid his pot of gold. "Well," said Mrs. Ryan with a smile, "we can play a game a little different from that. You already found Lenny the leprechaun and his pot, but you haven't found his gold. He has it hidden all over the classroom. Why don't you see if you can find the gold and give it back to Lenny?" And in this picture, you can see the leprechaun standing there. Ooh, maybe that's his pot of gold. And there goes a boy and his dog. But leprechauns are very sly. They hide from people. Everyone thought this was a great idea. They began searching. "I found a piece," cried Wanda. She held up a candy coin covered with gold foil. It had been in the flower pot by the window. "I found one too," George shouted. It was under the bookcase. Soon everyone had found at least one coin. The children piled them next to Lenny's golden pot. "We'll save these for refreshment time," said Mrs. Ryan. "I'm sure Lenny will share with all of you." "Wanda, you found the first piece of gold, so why don't you read the piece of paper numbered 4? Wanda did. It said, "Refreshment time." Mrs. Ryan laughed. "Okay," she said. Then she took a cloth off a table in the corner and showed everyone the refreshment table. It had been decorated with green crepe paper and pictures of shamrocks. There were green snacks such as celery, raw broccoli, and olives. There were sugar cookies with green icing and also a green cake and a bowl of green punch. Maybe your family has a special dinner on St. Patrick's Day. Many families have corned beef with cabbage and potatoes and carrots. And yeah, that's a lot of fun too. And Irish soda bread, that's another one. "Mrs. Ryan," Judy asked, "why is everything green on St. Patrick's Day?" Green is a reminder of Ireland, said Mrs. Ryan. Ireland has beautiful green hills. Many people think the grass there is the most beautiful shade of green in the world. If you fly to Ireland when you're flying over the country just before you're landing, you can see the fields. The fields are separated with squares of different things, but the most remarkable thing is they're all green and they're all different colors of green. Like if you open your crayon box and pulled out all the greens, there's quite a number of them. It's so exciting. On St. Patrick's Day, most people celebrate by wearing green and making everything around them green. In New York City, the Empire State Building puts green lights in its windows at night. In Chicago, they put coloring in the Chicago River and turn it green. Someday I want to see that, if they even still do it. Everyone enjoyed the green snacks. Then Mrs. Ryan asked Michael to pick the last piece of paper. It said, "Have a parade." There have been parades on St. Patrick's Day for hundreds of years, said Mrs. Ryan. The one in New York City is sometimes 6 hours long, but I think a parade around the school will be enough for us, don't you? What are some instruments you might find in a St. Patrick's parade? You could find drums. You'll find this guy marching. He's the Grand Marshal. This looks like a tuba, but I think you would find bagpipes. The music corner didn't have any bagpipes, but the children grabbed tambourines and cymbals and bells. They marched around the school singing, "When Irish Eyes Are Smiling." It was a great parade. I hope you all had fun celebrating St. Patrick's Day, said Mrs. Ryan. Everyone cheered and clapped, and John said, "I wish we could have St. Patrick's Day every day." And Lenny the leprechaun winked. Do you know how to wink? Look at him. Winking is like you're telling a little private joke and you close one eye. That's a wink. Like, "Oh, I know what you have on your mind," and then you wink, or it's just a little joke. That's a wink. Can you wink though? It's hard to learn how to wink because sometimes you try to wink and both of your eyes go shut. So, um, so now I do have a story about a leprechaun. The story of the leprechaun. There's a lot of stories about leprechauns. It's fun to think about. I've never seen a leprechaun. Have you ever seen a fairy? They're all called little people. It is said that leprechauns make shoes. That's their trade. They make shoes. Remember the story of the shoemaker and the elves? Maybe I'll find that for next week. Wouldn't that be fun? Okay. I'm just reading what this says about leprechauns. Leprechauns are a type of fairy, and for that reason, they have magical powers and can grant wishes. Most leprechauns live in Ireland. Leprechauns are misers and careful about keeping their pots of gold in a safe place. They are generally suspicious of humans, who often try to capture them or trick them in order to get the pot of gold. Unlike humans, they also have a natural ability to find the end of a rainbow, which is handy when burying treasure. Do you like rainbows? Do you know what I was thinking about rainbows? Why aren't there rainbows in the winter? Is anyone out there a scientist? Why do rainbows only come in the summer and the spring and not in the fall or the winter? Is it because the air is too dry? I mean, all you need is water and sun, right? Rain, and it rains in winter, and it's sunny in winter, so why don't you have rainbows in the winter? Well, I like rainbows and I like to chase them. So let's hear about the leprechaun. A little man about 2 feet tall lived under a large tree. by a stream. You could easily find him by listening for the tap, tap, tap of his hammer. The little man was a shoemaker. He spent his days making shoes that were green gold and lavender, some with pointy toes and some with high heels, for the people who lived nearby and for the fairies who lived in the woods. So there's his workshop, and he made shoes for the humans, and he made shoes for the fairies. The people knew he was a leprechaun, for there were many fairies like him who lived outside the villages. I love this picture. There's a lot of things that we don't know that take place in nature if we'll only look. The people paid the leprechaun with pieces of gold for the shoes that he cobbled. The fairy shoes were made of satin and they were tiny. The fairies brought their gold to the leprechaun too. The leprechaun needed a place to keep his gold. He was a bit of a miser, so he didn't like to spend his money. An old metal pot became the perfect place for all of his wealth. His shoes were so prized that soon his pot of gold was overflowing. One day, a man named Tim came to the leprechaun's shop by the tree. He wanted a pair of shoes that would be violet blue with thick soles. Right? Now look at him talking to the leprechaun. And if you look in the door, you can see the leprechaun's pot of gold. As he was describing the shoes to the leprechaun, Tim did spy the pot of gold. Tim knew that if he could capture the leprechaun, he would be granted 3 wishes, because leprechauns are magic. I'll come back in a few days to collect my shoes, said Tim. The leprechaun was no fool. He knew what the man was really after. He buried his pot of gold in a field filled with berry bushes. A few days later, Tim came back and the leprechaun gave him the violet blue shoes. But when the leprechaun turned to hide his payment, he was snatched from behind. Well, they say if you catch the leprechaun, you get those wishes. How rude. The leprechaun could not escape. Now Tim could get what he wanted. For my first wish, I want you to show me where the pot of gold is hidden. For my second wish, I want 100 pairs of shoes. And for my third wish, I want 3 more wishes. The leprechaun said, I can grant you the first 2 wishes, but the third wish is a greedy trick and cannot be granted. The leprechaun brought Tim to the field and pointed to the spot where the gold was buried. Tim had no shovel to dig with, so he marked the spot with a stick and a shoe. He would come back later. When Tim returned, he could not believe his eyes. There were 200 sticks with 200 shoes all over the field. It was leprechaun magic. Tim thought he was a trickster. You can't out-trick a leprechaun. Tim dug many holes in the field, but he couldn't find the spot where the pot of gold was buried. After a few hours, he gave up. When he tried to collect the shoes, each one disappeared. The leprechaun had tricked him. The leprechaun needed to find a better place to hide his gold. He knew that rainbows were magic. You could never tell where one ended. And if he buried his gold at the end of one, only he would know how to find it again. So that is what he did. People still try to find his gold, but they never will. Listen for the sound of the leprechaun. Tap, tap, tap as he cobbles his shoes. Perhaps if you find him, and if you are very nice to him, he'll grant you a wish. Fun. I like to believe in that. Let's do our Skidamarink song. Okay? So for some of my newcomers, and when we sing Skidamarink, we use sign language. So we say, I love you, or baby, what they call baby sign language. I call it shorthand. You go like this, and that means I love you. So you could walk down the street, go up to grandma and just say, that means I love you. So when you put your hand like that, doesn't it look like a donkey head? Oh, oh, I think, but it means I love you. So I love you. Skidamarink-a-dink-a-dink, skidamarink-a-doo. I love you. Skidamarink-a-dink-a-dink, skidamarink-a-doo. I love you. I love you in the morning and in the afternoon. I love you in the evening and underneath the moon. Oh, skidamarink-a-dink-a-dink, skidamarink-a-doo. I love you. I love you. Can you say it? Right? It's talking without words. So, it's almost time for Lily White's party, which, as my old friends know, means bedtime. You're going to sleep on those clean lily white sheets. Lily White's party. But little kids, they get all excited. Let's go to Lily White's party. And they're like, yeah, let's go to a party. But it just means go to bed. Go hippity hop to bed. I'd rather stay up instead. When mother says must, there's nothing but just. Go hippity hop to bed. We're not ready for bed yet. We still have another book. Our last book of this evening. Elliot's back, little Elliot. We met little Elliot last week when he met his little friend Mouse. And this is called Little Elliot Big Family. I love these books. These are by Mike Corrado. Last time we read Little Elliot Big City. And he felt so little in a big city without a friend. And then he met Mouse. Here's his little friend Mouse. Little Elliot Big Family. I love the pictures. Story and Pictures by Mike Corrado. Little Elliot woke up to a bright winter day. Good morning, Mouse, said Elliot. Morning, Elliot, said Mouse. Today is my family reunion. I can't wait for my grandmother's cheese chowder. I hope grandmother made an extra large batch. I have to share it with my parents, my grandparents, 15 brothers, 19 sisters, 25 aunts, 27 uncles, and 147 cousins. Mouse thought for a moment. At least I think that's right. It's very hard to keep track. There's pictures of all his mouse relatives. It's a lot of folks. I'd better go, said Mouse. I don't want to be late. Have a good time, said Elliot, and with a wave, Mouse was off. The house was quiet and empty without Mouse. Elliot decided to take a walk. He saw many families. Brothers played in the street. Mothers read to their sons. Fathers took their daughters to the park. Sisters shared treats and secrets. Grandmothers sang to babies and uncles gave advice. This is what it's like to live in the city. Cousins skated together and even did tricks. Elliot wondered what it would be like to have 147 cousins, or even just one. It was getting cold, so Elliot decided to go see a movie. The theater was big and dark and empty. Elliot missed Mouse. When Elliot left the theater, he discovered that everything was blanketed in white. The snow fell and the wind blew. Elliot could hear his name. Was it the wind? No, it was Mouse. I missed you, said Mouse. I missed you too, said Elliot. Let's get out of the cold, said Mouse. I know somewhere we can go. Mouse's family gave Elliot a warm welcome. Come, have some cheese chowder, said Mouse's grandmother. Look at all those little mouse cousins in somebody's attic. I want to go to that party. The party went on for hours. Elliot had a wonderful time. At the end of the day, Mouse counted the whole family again. Looks like they had cupcakes and they played games and they sang and danced and they read books. And then Mouse counted his family again. And he added one more to his family. He added Elliot. Isn't that sweet? And then we can go back to the pictures on the wall. And there's the newest picture of Elliot and Mouse. The end. Isn't that sweet? Love it. Oh, starlight, star bright. It's too light right now for the stars to come out, but they will come out later, and so will twinkle. Starlight, star bright. First star I see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might have the wish I wish tonight. I always have the same wish. I want to go to Disney World. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Almost ready for bed. This is the way we wash our face, wash our face, wash our face. This is the way we wash our face before we go to bed. This is the way we comb our hair, comb our hair, comb our hair. This is the way we comb our hair before we go to bed. This is the way we brush our teeth, brush our teeth, brush our teeth. This is the way we brush our teeth before we go to bed. This is the way we blow a kiss, blow a kiss, blow a kiss. This is the way we blow a kiss before we go to bed. Well, I want to thank you for spending the evening with me. I hope you enjoyed our stories tonight. We'll have more next week and the week after. We have our stories all the time. And I love it. I love story time. It's my best favorite time of day because you are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Bye. I love you. Bye. I'll see you next time.